Today's tutorial is going to be a Christmas pom-pom wreath. Welcome to Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Come on in. Hello, Stillwater's friends. How are you today? Come on in. Today we're going to make an entirely new style of wreath here on the channel. We're going to make a pom-pom wreath in one of my favorite Christmas themes, the infamous Christmas green monster. And the focal point of this wreath is going to be this super cute glitter sign. So let me take this out of the package and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, there it is outside of the packaging. As you can see, it's probably, let's see, about 10 inches in height, so probably 8 inches in width. It is actually made out of a thin wood veneer. And then, of course, the front-facing sign is solid glitter applique. And we're going to make our wreath on a wire wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. I grabbed both just to show you what the difference would be. Most of the time here on the channel, we use the 14-inch wire frame from the Dollar Tree, but I feel like that's going to be a little bit too small for the look that we're going for. So if you can imagine, once this frame is covered in pom-poms, I feel like it's going to be a little bit too small for my preference for our wreath. I think it would work. So if all you have is the 14-inch frame, I definitely think it's doable. But for our purposes on the channel today, I decided to go ahead and grab the 18-inch wire wreath frame. This is also from the Dollar Tree. Before we dive in, let me just take a quick minute to welcome anyone who's new here to the channel. Stillwater's Wreath Designs is all about DIY wreath and door swag tutorials. We upload new tutorials every single week, so if you like that sort of thing, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you can create with us every week. And for my friends that have been with me for a little while, thank you for always returning. I so appreciate you. And just a quick note here, guys, I will leave a full materials and supplies list for you below in the description of this video so that you can recreate this if you'd like to do so. And of course, if you'd rather just purchase the wreath that we create today on the video directly, I'll leave that link for you below as well while it lasts. All right, guys, let's quickly walk through the supplies we'll be using. And while we do that, go ahead and get your hot glue gun plugged in and have a couple of extra glue sticks handy. You'll need a good pair of crafting scissors. We'll be using our 18-inch wire wreath form today. I did purchase 10 of these signs, so I will leave a link if you'd like to grab this exact sign. I'll leave a link for that for you below too while supplies last. You're going to need some 1.5 inch to 2.5 inch ribbon. It doesn't need to be wired. This is just something I grabbed from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need a boatload of red and green pom-poms. So I've got a couple of different sizes. These all actually came from Amazon, ironically. So these are actually going to fluff out to be, I believe, 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter. And then I've also got a box of smaller pom-poms that are red, white, and green. And if you're new to wreath making, friends, this is what's called a wire wreath form. You can get these, gosh, at nearly any online retailer. This actually comes from the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree wire wreath frames are great for lighter weight wreaths. So let's go ahead and prep our wreath frame, guys. We're going to actually wrap this thing in ribbon all the way around because our pom-poms need something to grab a hold of. You could really use any width. I recommend the 1.5 to the 2.5 inch width ribbon. You don't want to use super thick or wide ribbon, I should say, or it might leave some wrinkles as you wrap this. I grabbed a Christmas theme just to kind of go with our wreath, but any kind will do. I just would recommend that you stay away from the satins or any sort of slick ribbon because I think it'll be harder for our pom-poms to adhere. So I've just peeled that apart and we'll get that ready. here in just a minute, but let's take a quick side break. And if you order pom-poms from Amazon like I did, they're going to come shrink wrapped like this. And I want to go ahead and open these packages so they can start to fluff out while we're getting our base ready. How stinking cute are those guys? Oh my goodness. So that's what they look like. They're just fluffy little fur balls. All right, friends, I've got my pom-poms laying off to the side and fluffing out a little bit. And so let's go ahead and prep our wire wreath form. And again, we're just going to use our ribbon to wrap the wreath frame with so that our pom-poms have something to stick to. So I thought this burlap and the texture of that would be great to help that adhere. And so I've got my glue gun heated up, and I've got my wire wreath frame turned over so that the back side is facing us. And I'm going to run my ribbon underneath, and we're just going to wrap, wrap, wrap the entire thing. I'm going to add some hot glue, a few generous stripes here just to get that anchored down, and then I'll fold that over and then use my scissors to press down, get a good grip so that I don't burn myself. And while I'm holding this, friends, I'll just tell you, as we wrap our wreath frame with the ribbon, you don't need to overlap it a whole lot at all. You just want to make sure you're getting some good coverage all the way around your wreath frame. And so I'm literally just going to wrap, leave basically no gap unless I do so accidentally, because it doesn't have to be pretty, guys. This is just to give our pom-poms something to hold on to. So I'm going to speed ahead and just keep wrapping this all the way around. Again, not looking for much overlap at all until we get back to our starting point. Let's speed ahead. You guys, I want to take just a quick pause here and tell you a couple of things. I actually got my burlap Christmas ribbon from the Dollar Tree. There are only 9 feet on these rolls, and so one roll is going to cover a little over half of the 18-inch frame. So if you're using Dollar Tree burlap ribbon, make sure you grab 2 rolls, and you're going to have a little bit of extra ribbon. When you reach the end point, I'm just going to keep on wrapping. I'm not going to just save a few inches of this ribbon. It's not enough to repurpose into another project. So I'm just going to overlap my starting point and then hot glue this down. And now I'm going to actually run one more bead right where that seam meets. And I'm going to give it a couple of minutes to dry, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, my fellow wreath makers, we have got our base created, and I want to hold this up to you and show you that, you know, it's not needed to be pretty. So the entire purpose of covering this with our ribbon, our burlap ribbon, was to give the wireframe some coverage and something for our pom-poms to anchor down at. So I just wanted to show you what mine looks like up close. This is the front-facing sign. You can see that not so pretty glob of glue. That's okay. We're going to cover this beauty with pom-poms. No one's going to see that. This is what the back side looks like. Again, it doesn't need to be super pretty. This is just for coverage and adherence. So the next step is to add our Christmas green monster hand to our wreath. I'm just going to use the string that came with this. We need to add this before we add our pom-poms so that we can hide this string away. And I want this to hang essentially right in the middle of my sign. I have to do this upside down, guys, so I can tie the string here. But basically, once all you need to do is lay your green monster hand in the middle of your wreath frame. I'm going to cut this red string. Not even going to bother with the untying part. And I'm just going to tie this guy right around my wreath frame. And I'm going to tie it in 2 or 3 good knots because I don't want it to come undone. So you can see I've essentially centered this right in the middle of our wreath frame. I've tied lots of knots. Now I'm going to cut off my excess string. Probably leave about 1/8 of an inch nub there of string just to keep that from coming undone. Now I'm just going to flip this guy over and I'm going to lay it flat just like so. I'm going to go ahead and just run a couple of beads of glue right over that string just so that it can be drying. Now, depending on where you get your pom-poms from, mine were all-purpose crafting pom-poms. So on each of my poms, I've got this little teeny white string loop that's meant for other purposes in crafting. I don't want that to be seen on my wreath, so I'm going to be mindful that those white loops are face down as I add my poms into my wreath frame. And all I'm going to do, guys, is add plops of glue, a good fair amount, because I don't want my poms to come undone. So probably, a half a dime size worth for each of my poms. And I want to sprinkle them in no particular rhyme or reason. I want them to kind of be whimsical and haphazard. And I'm going to make sure that they also stick out over the back side of my wreath frame. So again, I'm going to be mindful of where that white nub is. I'm going to put a full squeeze of glue and stick that guy down. I don't want specific lines or patterns. I just want lots and lots of whimsy. And I'm going to hold each pom down for about 10 to 15 seconds so it gets a nice good grab onto our burlap, and just keep moving forward. I'm going to speed ahead and let you watch this in fast motion since it's going to be a repetitive process. And we'll circle back here and once we get about 1/3 of this done. You guys, let me pause really quickly. I've already discovered it's better to be facing your pom-pom glue area directly. So I've just turned this upside down and I'm going to make sure that the sections I'm working on are directly in front of me. So I'm going to keep pivoting this as I go. All right, guys, at this point, we've got about 1/4 of it done, maybe a little bit more than 1/4. It is looking super stinking cute. I've tried a couple of different ways to add our pom-poms down. I've added some glue dollops directly to the pom-pom and pressed it down on. I've added glue to the wreath base and add them down on, and they're taking about the same amount of time. So, you know, whatever method you're comfortable for doing, just make sure you've got 3 rows in a whimsical pattern. Work your way all the way around the wreath, and I'll meet you back here. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so stinking cute. So this did take quite a little while. I would say I need to actually look at my clock, which I can't see right now, but I bet that loading these large pom-poms probably took me about a half an hour. So it definitely is a labor of love. I probably went through 3 or 4 full-size glue sticks. So make sure you've got plenty of glue sticks on hand when you recreate this. And then once you're finished and the glue has had at least 15 minutes to dry, just kind of run your hands over your palms and make sure you don't have any loosey-goosey guys. I feel one right there. And so any place where there's a loose palm, just add a little pea-sized amount of glue down towards the base so that you or your customer don't see that glue dollop, and give it a good hold. And now we can move on to step 2. So now I'm just going to sprinkle some of these miniature pom-poms into our wreath. And these guys are, gosh, I would say they're calling them 1 inch in diameter, but they're probably closer to 3/4. And I think I'm just going to sprinkle a few of the white throughout the wreath. I don't want to use the red and green, I don't think. I might change my mind as I go. But I just want to sprinkle a few of the white in no particular pattern throughout the wreath, kind of where those seams of the larger palms meet. So I'll just add a teeny dollop of glue, probably the size of half a pea, to the back side of the white palms and sprinkle them in. All right, guys, this beauty is finished, and how stinking cute did it turn out to be? I sure hope you enjoyed creating with me today. If you did, please give this tutorial a thumbs up. It really helps my little channel to grow. Thanks for spending time with me today. Happy crafting.